Hello there, Fanny. Nice to see these essays from you. Let's get straight into your corrections. Let's not waste any time. Okay, so doing an enjoyable activity with a child can develop better skills and imagination than reading. Let's see what you had to say about this. In recent years, a debate has emerged regarding the idle time for children. Should the leisure time be one for education, such as reading, or should it be more enjoyable? I strongly agree that children might develop not only creativity, but also various abilities if given the opportunity to be involved in less academic activities. This essay will support this point of view using examples from game consoles. Careful, this is a weird word because essentially game acts as an adjective here, so it should be singular, game, and then this should be plural here, consoles, okay? So using game consoles in sports to support arguments. Firstly, reading has numerous benefits. Nevertheless, playing on game consoles, again, can develop skills that would be impossible to develop by reading alone. This is because it might help in developing skills such as active skills or spatial awareness, as well as creativity by using avatars. For example, recent studies by Harvard show that children playing 2 hours a week on game consoles, there it is again, such as PlayStation or Nintendo, outperform, you probably want a hyphen here, by the way, okay, and outperform their peers by 30% in creative writing. Therefore, the advantages of playing on game consoles, I think, is undeniable. Okay, fine. Secondly, there are some skills, such as sport, that you can only acquire by practicing them, not reading them. This is due to the fact that theory is one thing, but doing is another. Nice. For instance, the French Ministry of Education has shown that children involved in sport competitions, such as soccer or tennis, develop half more cognitive and physical abilities than reading only. Okay, here, this is not the right way to say this. I think what you really mean is twice as many, okay? So twice as many cognitive and physical abilities than reading only, or double the cognitive and physical abilities. That's probably even better, than with just reading alone. Something like this. Now, it's a rather sophisticated way of making a comparison, but there are a number of ways to do it, okay? As a consequence, parents should encourage their children to practice more sports. To conclude, while reading is an important skill, the examples given have illustrated the fact that balancing activities is primordial in developing physical, cognitive, and creative abilities. I'm glad that you're trying to use advanced vocabulary words, but this one doesn't quite fit, okay? I think you mean something like critical, crucial, but definitely not primordial. It means something totally different. Furthermore, it is predicted that children involved in various activities will succeed better in their overall studies. All right, nice job, Fanny. It's a good essay. There are a lot of nice elements. The structure is really good. The development is really well done. A lot of the sentences really flowed very nicely. They were easy to read. There were just a couple of areas that, I had to make some minor corrections, but on the whole, it was a really good essay. So let's take a look now at your second one. Communication is less between family members of late. Do you agree or disagree? Let's see what you had to say. In recent years, some concerns have been established that members of the household communicate less within each other than before. All right, let's change a couple of things here. That members of, this is interesting, the household. I know that you're trying to find another alternative for family. Sometimes, really, family is just the best word. So let's make it instead. In recent years, some concerns have been established that members of the same family communicate less with each other than before. I know you're probably anxious to use more advanced vocabulary, less familiar vocabulary, and that's fine. But, sometimes sometimes trying a little too hard is actually doing a disservice. So here, just, err on the side of simplicity. Okay. I both agree and disagree with this viewpoint and examples, not the examples, but examples from UNESCO and research from MIT without the again, as well as the arguments below, will support this duality. Now, okay, this is interesting. They've asked you to what extent do you agree or disagree. You haven't really told us. You've basically said you do both. So, maybe it would do you better to at least say which side you feel a little more strongly about, okay? You kind of answered the question. You kind of said that you agree and you disagree, but you haven't told us to what extent. So, make that clear to the reader. Okay, moving on. On the one hand, because media is the new norm at home, as it is increasingly construed as educational as well as entertaining, the previous communal space at home has been replaced by privatized area. All right, make this a plural, privatized areas or a privatized area. For example, as shown by research from UNESCO, 75% of the teenagers, plural, who come back home at the end of the school day, not rather isolate, but prefer to isolate themselves in the bedroom, and albeit prefer texting. I don't think you mean albeit. I think you're looking for a different word, although I'm not really entirely sure which word you're looking for. Texting their peers and socializing with their family. Therefore, family members are now living together separately, and communication is decreasing. No the is necessary here. Okay, Fanny? All right. On the other hand, ample evidence has shown that the internet and globalization without the has made, now careful, you have two things here. So you have internet and globalization. So it really should be have made, shouldn't it? So the internet and globalization, which is an abstract concept, so you don't need the, have made the world smaller. Thus, comma, made communication easier and faster. Take, for example, an academic research. No an. Okay, just academic research is fine without capitals, but it can't be and because research is uncountable. Okay, so take, for example, academic research from MIT in the United States. Okay, no the. It's just not part of the title really. So from MIT in the United States, which proved that when living in different cities or even countries, family members tend to text and even video each other several times a week. As a consequence, even though in various parts you need an S here of the world, families still keep in touch. Lovely. Nicely done. To conclude from the examples shown, it is obvious that this issue is both real and exacerbated by some. As a solution, senior members of the household should ensure that communication within the family is maintained by eating meals together, for instance. Okay, I liked the essay in general. It was well done. I'm not a huge supporter of adding new evidence or new ideas in your conclusion. It's great to use a prediction. Like in the future, perhaps we will see more and more of this. And in fact, it's something you could have done. You could have made this a prediction. So for example, in the future, hopefully families will make an effort to eat meals together in order to counterbalance this effect. That would have been great. But the way you phrased it here, it's almost as if you were introducing new evidence, and that's not what you want to do. You don't want to add anything new in your conclusion, okay? All right, Fanny, so nicely done with these. There were some really a lot of nice elements to both of your essays, so keep on writing, keep on correcting, keep on getting feedback for your essays. Of course, try to do this all within 24 hours of writing so you can really apply everything you've been learning. Alrighty, so great job, keep on writing, and I will be waiting for more of your essays.